When my twin told me I wasn't family and kept a straight face, I cracked inside. I was seconds from giving up and held my final letter tight. But by last winter, I had real success and calm in my hands. My brothers never saw it coming, not even a little. You won't believe how my life completely changed and held. I went from shame to quiet strength in steady steps each day. I built a path with proof, not noise or pride or spin. I learned slow hands beat fast talk every single time. I carried pain like a stone and shaped it with work. I turned that weight into something that kept me steady. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're listening in the comments. My name is Dylan, and I am the younger twin. My brother is Ryan, born 4 minutes before me. Our older cousin Marcus lived with us like a brother. Dad taught one rule that never left my head. Keep your word, and it will keep you, he said. I wrote that line on a card and kept it daily. It helped when our rooms turned sharp around money. Respect left first, and then kindness followed it out. You know that chill that sits behind your ribs? It grows when jokes hide knives and faces smile thin. I fix phones and small gear with steady hands. I like order, clean tools, and honest books always. If a thing works, it works. No spin needed here. I printed cards for $1 to start simple. Dylan repairs, honest work, fair price, fast reply. I set prices I could defend every day under heat. Screen swap 35 to 60, model decides on rate. Battery 30 to 45, risk decides the number. Port clean 20, 25 if stubborn and slow. I promised, if I break it, I fix it every time. The first cracks came quiet, like tiny snaps you miss. My labeled food box started going empty at night. Rice gone, chicken gone, no message from anyone, nothing. I asked calm, "Who touched my food box? Be straight." Silence first, then jokes about me being serious again. Jokes can be cheap. Walls men hide behind when wrong. I didn't chase them around the kitchen with heat. I drank water and said, plan, not anger, to myself. When food goes missing, planning beats shouting every time. So I wrote new rules to carry for one day only. I tracked every coin in a cheap blue notebook daily. Date, job, parts, sale, and a clean net line. Numbers kept my head steady when hearts shook fast. Numbers don't lie when people bend truth for gain. I added names to show who paid fare on time. I logged costs and minutes like a mechanic's logbook. If I felt shame, I opened the book first and read. If I felt heat, I wrote more lines calmly to cool. Calm grows where order repeats daily without excuse. That notebook became a mirror I could trust. Then came words that hit harder than a slap. Ryan looked straight at me and said, "You're not family." He said it flat, like reading a bill without care. My chest went hollow, and my jaw got tight at once. Have you ever felt your name sink in your own house? Would you keep fighting, or would you fade tonight? I took a breath and held my card in my palm. Dad's line sat there and kept my hands from shaking. Speak less, I told myself, and stand on proof now. I would not argue with a man who enjoyed the cut. Marcus pushed deeper with soft, sliding words next. Dreams don't pay. Stop acting like a shop hero, he said. He laughed at my kit and called it toy tools online. I turned my phone face down and saved my breath. Not every fight needs talk. Some fights need proof. Proof speaks to men who work with their hands. Proof says, I keep promises every single day. Proof says, you cannot lock me out of myself. I wrote their words down so they lived on paper. Paper holds poison better than the mind does. Dinner brought the next shove in the same week. My plate slid away like I wasn't even there anymore. Pay extra or don't eat. Ryan told me flatly then. I had paid my share already and logged the amount. I paid. Check the book, I said, calm and steady. He smirked and said, "Life isn't your book, Dylan." Marcus stared at his phone and stayed quiet again. Silence can cut deeper than any loud words can. I ate oats with salt and drank cold water slowly. Hunger teaches men to plan better than anger does. I saved $1,100 over months. I planned to buy broken phones and fix them in batches. I told them the plan and asked if they'd join me. Ryan said, "Pennies won't change anything, little man." Marcus said, "People won't trust you with anything big." Those words landed like stones and stayed heavy inside. I wrote them down so they stayed out of my chest. Writing turns pain into a map a man can follow. Maps beat rage when the floor tilts under a man. I needed a map more than I needed noise. They tested me again with hands on my tools. 2 screens gone, my best tweezers, 1 driver head missing. "We borrowed," Marcus said with a grin and shrug. I said, "Ask first. Keep your hands off my kit." Respect sounds soft, but hits like a hammer, friend. It tells men where the wall really stands in life. They laughed and called me accountant boy again. I kept my mouth closed and saved my breath for proof. Proof takes time. Men like them never want to give. I let time work while I stacked small wins. Then Ryan stood close and tested my face with pride. He slapped me once, cold and sharp, meant to shrink me. My hands wanted to rise, but I counted in silence. I counted to 50 while I kept both feet still. Control saves a year that anger would surely burn. I said, "We can talk like men if you want." He said, "You slow us down, get out of the way." I left that room and chose proof over rage again. Rage burns fast and leaves you broke and weak. Proof builds walls that stop the wind at night. Friend, here is the part that ties this all tight. I stood close to the edge and held my letter I was seconds from giving up completely inside. I felt like disappearing from my own map tonight. Then I chose one small act I could control well. I messaged 3 buyers with fair, plain words now. I tested parts before money ever left my hand. I ate oats and water and wrote clean notes after. I told myself, build one true day only today. That choice kept me standing for the next step forward. We were close once, or I believed we were very close. We moved like one team most days back then. Dad said one rule that shaped our early years. "Keep your word, and it will keep you," he said. I wrote that line on a card and kept it. Ryan rolled his eyes, but he still smiled then. Marcus nodded because nodding was easy for him. Our table had jokes, plans, and small wins together. We thought loyalty alone would carry us through anything. Have you ever trusted a bond that later cracked hard? I fix small things because details calm my mind. You know that quiet focus when screws line up right. It makes noise fade to a soft hum inside you. I cleaned ports with patient strokes and even breath. I tested touch lines before closing any frame carefully. Results tell the truth without flashy talk or spin. If it works, it works. No tricks needed here. Ryan loved shortcuts and fast deals and big talk. He liked wins that felt like sprints and cheers. Marcus drifted between us, pulled by whatever looked strong. We built a small house code to guide us daily. Pay bills on time and clean tools after work. Keep doors locked and share chores without drama. For a while, we followed it with no fights. I believed we were tight because it looked tight then. But tight can crack if values change inside slowly. Respect is glue. If it dries, everything splits apart. I noticed new jokes that hid small knives well. "Counting pennies again?" they asked with that grin. Those pennies kept lights on, and I knew it well. There was a day that still feels warm to me. A neighbor asked us to check his dead outlet. I tested lines twice before switching power on. The lamp turned on, and we all smiled wide. Ryan said, "Too slow," but his eyes looked proud. Marcus took a photo and said, "We're a team." Moments like that can trick a soft heart easily. They make you think the bond won't break ever. But storms don't always start with thunder, friend. Sometimes clouds drift in and choose to stay. Money pressure grew like weeds after rain quickly. My labeled food box started to run empty often. Rice gone, chicken gone, no message, nothing again. I asked, calm, "Who touched my food box? Be straight." Silence first, then jokes about me being serious again. Jokes are cheap walls men hide behind when wrong. I didn't chase them around the kitchen at night. I drank water and said, "Plan, not anger," softly. When food goes missing, planning beats shouting every time. I wrote new rules to carry for one day only. I started tracking every coin in a blue notebook: date, job, parts, sale, and a clean net line. It sounds dull, but it saved my head daily. Numbers don't lie when people bend truth often. They give you rails when your floor shakes hard. If I felt shame, I opened the book first. If I felt heat in my chest, I wrote more. Calm grows where order repeats daily, friend. I added names to show who paid fair always. That book became a mirror I could trust. Ryan shifted faster and sharper than before that season. Small jokes turned into cutting comments quite often. He told me to go faster than I should go. He rolled his eyes when I tested parts twice. He filmed my kit and called it Toy Time online. Marcus laughed to show he stood with him. Laughter can be a weapon when guards drop low. Have you ever smiled while your gut tightened hard? You feel the room tilt while standing still there. You learn silence can be stronger than speeches. I kept handing out my simple white cards calmly. Dylan Repairs. Honest work. Fair price. Fast reply. People like the words honest work the most. They said other shops promised and failed often. I said, if I break it, I fix it, clearly. It landed with men who live by labor daily. It said I would own my mistakes fully here. It also reminded me to slow my hands. Slow is smooth when you build trust, friend. Trust is the backbone of a quiet life. The drift got clearer around cash and time. I offered to handle bills on a set schedule. Ryan said he had better uses for his cash. Marcus said timing was tight and looked away. I watched eyes, because eyes tell truth first. Their eyes said no while their words were fog. I wrote down dates, amounts, and what was said. Writing kept me honest when doubts got loud. It kept me from rewriting history to feel safe. Truth on paper keeps your spine straight. We still had a few easy wins in that stretch. We fixed a neighbor's phone and ate cheap pizza. I paid half and they said they'd send later. Later never came, and I let it slide again. Small slides add up when trust runs thin. I told myself to watch actions, not words. Words can sing while hands take from you. Actions put truth on the table fast, always. I watched and wrote clean notes in my book. The notes kept me from lying to myself. You can see how the ground was shifting now. We were two twins plus Marcus, but not together. Old jokes covered new debts and quiet grabs. I stayed calm and built habits I could keep. Habits hold you when storms test your frame. Soon words would cut deeper than I expected. Soon my place in my own house would shake. Stay with me, and keep your breath slow now. The next step will show the first deep tear, and how I held control when pride swung hard. He said it plain, like weather, "You're not family to me." He looked right through me and waited for me to fold. My chest went hollow, and my jaw locked hard right then. Have you ever felt your own name fall off your bones? Would you keep fighting if your twin said that line? I held my breath and counted to 20 with care. I would not give him my anger to play with. I would not bleed for a man who wanted blood. I said, "Okay," and saved my yes for the truth. Truth needed calm hands more than loud hurt today. Marcus laughed first because laughing was easy for him. He said, "Dreams don't pay bills, toy man. Wake up." He held my tweezers and waved them like a joke. "Look at this kit. This is a child's toolbox," he said. I took the tweezers back without raising my voice once. "Ask before touching my tools," I told him calmly. Respect sounds soft, but it hits like a hammer. It marks where the wall stands in a man's life. He smirked and shrugged like nothing mattered to him. The smirk told me more than any speech ever could. That night, my plate slid away like I was nothing. Ryan said, "Pay extra or don't eat," like a manager. I had paid my share on Monday, $45 in cash. I paid. "Check the notebook," I said with control. He said, "Your notebook isn't the law in this house." Marcus stared at his phone and held his grin. I ate oats with salt and drank slow water alone. Hunger hurts, but it clears your eyes and your mind. It burns pride out and leaves the strong parts clean. Clean is how a man stands through a long night. I opened my drawer and found 100 gone. I had counted 230 before dinner that day. "House needs," Ryan said, like that word changed facts. No note, no message, just a hole in my trust. I checked my parts box and found 2 screens missing. My best driver head was gone. Stripped set, half empty. "We borrowed," Marcus said and winked at Ryan. Borrowed without asking is the same as taking. I wrote each loss in my blue notebook with dates. Writing turns pain into steps I can walk on. They pushed it public with a cheap post online. "Some people aren't built for real life," Ryan typed. A photo of my closed door sat under the words. Faces laughed in a row with bright icons. I set the phone face down and saved my breath. Not every hit needs water. Some hits need time. Time lets proof grow roots under a man's name. Roots hold when wind tries to drag you out. Have you felt that wind shove at your chest? You plant your heels and breathe through your nose. I tried one clean talk because men should try once. Pay what you took, stop touching my tools, be straight. Let's set rules and keep receipts for every dollar. Ryan leaned in close and slapped me once, cold. Not hard, but sharp, meant to shrink the room. My hands wanted heat. My spine wanted calm. I counted to 50 and kept both feet still. Control can save a year that anger would burn. I said, "We can talk like men, or we can stop." He said, "Get out of the way. You slow everything." Next morning, he blocked the hall and asked for 50. "Special cost," he said, like this was business. Special is a flag for traps when pride speaks. I said, "No." One word, solid as a locked door. Saying no is a skill men learn through hard miles. He smirked and said, "You think you're better now?" I said, "I'm disciplined now, and that's enough." Discipline is a friend that never lies to you. It holds your hand when storms shake the house. It takes you to the next clean hour alive. They went after what I love to break my will. Ryan tried to sell my spare shells to a friend. "I'll get you parts cheap," he told the guy. I said, "Those are mine. No sale without me present." He stepped in close like he wanted a scene quickly. I said, "No scene, just respect and clean hands." Respect ended the talk faster than any shove. He backed away slow and kept his eyes loud. Loud eyes tell you what mouths will not reveal. I logged it and moved on to real work. I turned their noise into a map I could follow. I wrote 3 lines I would not break for anyone. If I break it, I fix it. First and loud in ink. If I can't, I say so. Second to guard truth. 7-day work warranty, parts as is. Third line. I film tests before closing each hard frame. Film turns your fault into clean silence quickly. Silence from critics is a quiet, heavy win. I priced by model and risk. Nothing random, ever. Prices that stand under heat keep sleep safe. Then came the worst line a twin can hear. You were a mistake we carried, Ryan said flat. He said it slow, so every word hit my ribs. My breath went thin, and my legs felt hollow. Have you ever felt like a ghost in your own home? Would you keep fighting if your name turned into smoke? I put my hand on my pocket card and held it. Keep your word, and it will keep you. Lived there. I kept my word to myself and stayed calm. Calm was my last shield left in that hour. I walked to my room and sat with my letter. The top line said, I'm tired, in my own ink. I held it and felt the edge whisper my name. I was seconds from giving up completely, friend. I felt like disappearing from this whole map. Then I said 2 words that turned my wheel. Not yet, I whispered, slow, even, and true. I picked one act I could finish today fully. I messaged 3 buyers with fair, plain words. I chose proof over pride and gave the day a spine. I sat on the edge of my bed and breathed slow. I held a folded letter behind my cash and stared. The first line said, I'm tired, and it cut deep. My hands shook and my chest felt hollow and tight. I almost let the dark take the wheel and drive. I almost let the room decide what I was worth. Have you ever felt that empty, like noise ate your name? I was seconds from giving up, and I knew it. I closed my eyes and counted each breath to 10. Then I whispered 2 words to myself. Not yet. I opened my blue notebook and made 1 page. I wrote 1-day plan at the top in bold ink. Wake early and eat simple food with no excuses. Send 3 short messages to real buyers only. Test every part before money ever leaves my hand. No calls to my brothers for 24 hours. Walk outside for 10 minutes and breathe evenly. I underlined each line so my mind could see it. Plans you can touch pull you back from edges. Doing one true thing beats fear every time. I gathered my kit and checked each tool with care. Drivers tight, pry cards flat, alcohol bottle capped well, tape ready, heat pad folded, and 1 clean cloth. I set my wallet and keys in a small tray. I wrote reserve on a plain envelope in ink. Even $5 would go in there tonight. Fear spends fast if you let it hold your hand. I would hold my own hand and move first now. That choice gave me 1 steady inch of space. A man can live a whole day on 1 inch. I messaged 3 buyers with plain, honest words. I can fix today. Fair price, careful hands. Fast reply. 1 said yes to a screen at $35 labor. 1 needed a port cleaned and a bracket tightened. 1 asked for advice and maybe a battery swap. I did not brag or promise what I could not do. Skill serves best when pride stays out of the room. Pride makes big claims your hands can't keep yet. I promised only what my hands could deliver. Morning came, and the knot still sat in my chest. I stood anyway and faced the mirror with calm. I said, "You are the same man with the same hands." I rinsed cold and ate oats plain with water. Simple food feeds work better than sweet lies. I packed my kit and put on steady shoes. I touched the letter and set it back in place. It would not choose my steps for me today. My plan and my code would choose my steps. A man must pick his steering wheel each day. I met the first client and laid out my tools. I spoke few words and let my hands speak for me. I tested the panel before closing a single screw. I seated the flex cables and checked touch lines twice. No dead spots and colors true across the glass. I wiped it clean and closed the frame with care. He paid in cash and gave a small nod of respect. Nods are quiet but heavy when they are honest. I slid $5 into my reserve envelope. Drops in a bucket grow into a wall behind you. The second job was a charge port full of lint. I cleaned it slowly and tightened the small bracket. The phone took a charge like it should again. He asked the price, and I gave a fair number. He paid and said, "You work careful." I like that careful work is slow and fast at the same time. Slow in hands, fast in results, and fewer returns. Returns cost 2 times once you count lost peace. Saving peace is how a man gets through storms. Peace shows up as sleep and a steady spine. I stepped outside and felt my chest loosen a bit. The edge was still there, but it wasn't close now. Proof beats doubt. It doesn't shout. It stands firm. I checked my blue book and read the small totals. Not loud numbers, but honest numbers I earned. I put more cash into my reserve without delay. Even small drops need a home and a plan. Buckets don't brag. They hold when wind gets rude. Holding when wind hits is real strength, friend. Strength without noise is strength that lasts. A message came from Ryan with the old bait. Move faster. Think big. Come talk and bring parts. I put the phone down and kept my day clean. I would not hand my piece back for free again. I read my plan card one more time to stay sharp. No calls to my brothers for 24 hours. Test parts before buying and log every job. Walk for 10 minutes and breathe slow and even. A plan is not a cage, it is a rail. I took a walk and matched words to my steps. I build, I protect, I improve, in a calm rhythm. The rhythm settled the weight sitting on my chest. The sky didn't change, but my mind got clear. I could feel my grip on life come back strong. I could feel my back set like a straight beam. I added one rule I knew I could keep. No heavy talks on work days ever again. Guardrails keep men from driving off cliffs. Guardrails make tomorrow show up on time. I finished the third job with steady, patient hands. The battery needed a tested swap and clean seals. I used slow heat and careful pressure to lift glue. The phone woke up and held charge like new now. The client said, "Thank you, brother. This helps a lot." I said, "If I break it, I fix it." Calm and firm. He nodded because simple truth sounds like steel. I logged the work and kept a photo as proof. Photos and numbers beat old arguments later. They protect peace without a single raised voice. When the day closed, I took out the letter again. I added one line under "I'm tired" and "not yet." I wrote, "I rise by work," then signed my name. Those 5 words sat like bricks in my chest. Not heavy in a bad way, heavy like foundation. Foundations don't move because pride barks loud. They don't care about noise or old bait lines. They care about level, weight, and daily checks. My foundation was a code I could speak aloud. My code held me when my house would not. Friend, if you are near the edge tonight, breathe. You still control your breath, hands, pace, tone, time. Make one page for one day and keep it. Eat simple, work careful, and log every dollar. Tell the truth faster than your fear can talk. Protect your hours with clear no and calm yes. Put 5 in a reserve and touch it at night. 5 becomes 10, then 20, then a wall. Walls block storms and give you windows for light. Windows let peace in and keep noise out. I will carry you into the turn without a pause now. Strength did not arrive with cheers or noise today. It came as steady days that matched my code. Small wins stacked until they formed a shield. That shield made their laughter thin and weak. It made my sleep deep and my voice even. It opened the door to my first clean breakthrough. Not luck, not magic, just system and care. Stay close. You'll hear how the build took shape, and how it held even when pressure returned. I woke and picked one line I could keep all day. I said, "Build a code I can keep today." Not a month, not a year, just this day only. Big goals drown men when storms hit hard and fast. Small promises hold when floors shake under your feet. I opened my blue notebook and drew 5 lines. Speak less. Prove more. Protect peace. Honor time. Guard money. I read them out loud so my hands would listen. Words train hands and hands train a life slowly. That is how real change starts for men like us. I wrote a list any man can follow right now. Wake early. Eat simple. Message buyers. Test parts. Log cache. I added one rule that protects my peace daily, friend. No heavy talks with brothers during work hours. Work and peace ride the same rails for me now. Rails keep engines fast and safe at the same time. I printed clean cards I could hand with quiet pride today. Dylan Repairs. Honest work. Fair price. Fast reply I handed them with a steady voice and clear eyes. I set prices I could hold under pressure always. Screen swap 35 to 60, model decides the rate. Battery 30 to 45 based on risk and heat. Port clean 20-25 if it fights back hard. I was not selling speed. I was selling careful hands. I added a 7-day work warranty in plain words. If I break it, I fix it, lives on my tongue. If I can't, I say so, lives there too, friend. These lines cut lies before they spread and rot. Ryan mocked those cards, but my face stayed calm. He said, "Real money moves fast. Drop the rules now." Fast without rails is falling that feels like flying. You meet the ground when the price comes due later. I wasn't building a rush. I was building a life. So I trained basics like a boxer trains clean jabs. Screw order, cable seating, and final seal checks. I filmed test clips before every hard close today. Proof turns your fault into silence without heat or smoke. I bought tools the way a farmer buys good seed. Better tweezers, thin pry cards, high purity alcohol, a magnetic mat to keep tiny screws in lanes, a driver set that would not strip under stress. I wrote each cost and the reason in my book. Tools are seed. Don't eat your seed out of fear. Fear says, spend all or save all, both wrong. Wisdom says, invest enough to raise your level. Protect the rest so tomorrow has a guard. I set deep work blocks with 0 alerts allowed. 90 minutes on, then water and a breath only. No scrolling, no bait, no side talks at all. A sticky near me read, "Do not disturb," in ink. When you guard your hands, your work guards your name. I handled 2 jobs steady and 1 no fix honest. The no fix cost cash, but bought strong respect. That client sent his cousin after 1 week. Truth travels farther than bright ads online, friend. Food rules were as strict as tool rules for me. Oats and eggs for work days, rice and beans later. I fed the reserve envelope every single day. 5 here, 10 there, 20 when I could add. Drops became a wall. Behind my back slowly. A wall lets a man face wind without panic. Fear taxes men every hour when walls are gone. Walls don't talk. They hold when storms shout loud. Build your wall with drops, proof, and clean logs. A real test came with a small shop request. 4 screens by Friday with clean delivery promised. Past me might have chased cheap parts and speed. Code me tested every panel on a harness first. I rejected weak ones even if it cost more cash. I labeled by model and logged time in and out. I checked touch, color, call audio, and proximity. I added tempered glass on one as a quiet thanks. Not a trick, just a standard that says, I care. Mockery kept coming, but felt softer each day. Results hung in the room like quiet armor. Armor you don't lift or shine for loud likes. It just changes how men speak near your name. I didn't clap back or post any hollow wins. I kept my rhythm, cleaned my kit, walked at dusk. I build, I protect, I improve, matched my steps. Rhythm is a weapon in a world of drag now. Keep a rhythm and your back stays straight. I wrote a storm drill for days that tilt me. If panic hits, sit, breathe, read code, drink water. Do one small task, clean tips or prep labels. Message one good client with a clear update. Touch reserve envelope and remember tomorrow. Simple drills beat wild thoughts when heat rises. Complicated plans snap when fear tightens the chest. Simple rails hold and carry a man tonight. Simple rails brought me back from sharp edges. I made peace with slow growth if it stayed true. I picked steady now over sorry later every time. I kept one promise to myself every day, friend. I will not hand my peace back for free. Not to pride, not to pressure, not to shame ever. If a call smelled like bait, I moved it to morning. If a job felt risky, I tested or said clean no. A clean no can save a dirty week of regret. Saying no is a skill grown men must learn. One moment told me my code was working right. A client said, "You showed up on time and spoke plain." He didn't praise price. He praised trust instead. Trust is the floor under every quiet win. With trust, steps sound like truth on wood. Without trust, steps squeak and draw eyes quickly. I would rather move quiet on solid boards. Loud steps on weak wood break ankles fast. Quiet steps reach doors that actually open. My code did not make me rich overnight at all. It made me unshakable where it mattered most. I could face mockery and keep my schedule steady. I could hear bait offers and protect my pace now. I did not hate my twin. I set clean terms. Terms that honor my time and my peace first. A man without terms pays hidden taxes forever. Terms turn leaks into locks you can trust. Locks keep love safe when storms roll through. Friend, if you need a code, borrow mine today. Speak less. Prove more. Protect peace. Honor time. Guard money. Add 2 lines that save you in storms. If I break it, I fix it. If I can't, I say so print it, pocket it, and say it out loud. Your mouth trains your hands train your life. One steady day becomes 2, then 3, then weeks. Then one morning, you wake up taller inside. Now hunger pressed harder, and I stayed calm. Bills pushed, heat rose, and bait kept coming strong. I kept the code, fed the reserve, and built patterns. Patterns beat luck and beat noise in the end. Small wins stacked until they formed a shield. That shield met a bigger chance and didn't bend. The first real breakthrough rose out of these rails. It showed care outlasts speed every single time. Stay with me. The next part will prove it soon. You will hear how the work spoke for me. Hunger is a sharp teacher, and it talks straight to men. I woke and said my code out loud with calm. Speak less. Prove more. Protect peace. Honor time. Guard money. I ate oats and eggs with water. Nothing extra at all. Simple fuel keeps hands steady when days get hard. I checked my kit and wiped every tool clean. Drivers tight, pry cards flat, alcohol cap tight always. I slid my reserve envelope into my inside pocket. Even $5 matters when storms keep coming. That wall of small drops kept my chest steady. A man named Kareem sent a short message early. 2 screens today, tested first, fair rate, I said. Yes. Parts at cost. Labor, $35 each. He liked the clean words and set a time window. I tested panels on a harness before paying cash. Weak lines showed on one, so I rejected it. Proof before purchase saves sleep and fights later. Have you learned that yet, or does pride still spend you? Pride spends faster than any thief with quick hands. I will not let pride hold my wallet again. Heat pressed like a weight as noon came fast. I drank water and walked 1 block for breath. Walking moves heat out of the head quietly. Movement beats the fog when pressure builds quick. I finished the first unit with slow, careful hands. I filmed a short clip before closing the frame tight. Film now saves a long debate later on. He paid labor and nodded like a working man. Nods from workers carry a special weight. They last longer than loud cheers and noise. Ryan pinged with the same tired pitch again. Scale with me, cut corners, make it fast. I wrote, quality first or no deal, brother. He typed a laughing face and a line about speed. Speed without rails is falling that looks like flying. The ground still comes and it doesn't care. I put my phone face down and protected pace. Pace is a weapon. It kills sloppy work slowly. Sloppy work taxes you twice in cash and sleep. I won't pay that tax ever again, friend. The second screen showed a faint shadow at test. I swapped it before a single screw went in. Early catches are the whole game in repairs. Late catches turn into your fault without proof. I kept the bad panel bagged with a test clip. I returned it with no drama and got a swap. People respect clean, evidence and straight tone. Straight tone is stronger than any loud speech. Loud burns hot and then leaves you empty. Straight builds ground where men can step calmly. Marcus sent a message with half a joke and a jab. Still counting pennies, accountant boy? I typed one word back, working, and left it. Short answers, protect peace from bait and traps. Have you learned to keep replies short under heat? Short is not weak. Short is a locked door. Doors teach men how to act around your time. If they won't learn, the door stays closed. Closed doors are love for both sides when used right. Clouds rolled in and slowed the walk-ins a bit. I posted, free checks today, honest advice only. 2 clients came with different kinds of trouble. The first was board damage past my safe skill. I gave 2 good referrals and wished him well. He thanked me like I fixed it in front of him. Respect comes easy when truth arrives fast. The second needed a battery I had in stock. I tested health, swapped, sealed, and logged the job. He paid fair and said, you work careful, brother. Hunger barked again near late afternoon. Loud. I ate rice and beans I prepped last night. Planning dinners saved me from dumb spending. Dumb spending steals from tomorrow's wall quickly. I cleaned my mat and checked my driver heads. I replaced a worn tip before it stripped screws. Small care prevents large losses under pressure. Prevention is quiet and never gets claps, but it keeps your week from breaking in half. Quiet wins outlive noisy gasps every time. Ryan tried one more push with a fake favor. Bring parts, we talk, and I'll open doors. Doors built by pride slammed shut the next day. I said, my rules, my pace, or I pass. He typed, you changed, as if that was dirt. I wrote, I chose, because choice is a backbone. Backbones grow when men stop renting their peace. I'm done renting. I bought my hours with rules. These rules pay me back every single morning. They also pay me back each quiet night. Kareem asked for 2 more units by the weekend. I checked my stock and said yes with terms. Terms protect men from surprises and stress. I blocked 90 minutes with all alerts off. Deep work blocks built the best parts of my life. In those blocks, my name grows steady in town. Your name needs training like your hands do. Train it with kept promises and clean logs. Logs tell the truth even when nerves shake. Truth beats nerves when you face clients. I wrote a small storm drill on a fresh card. If panic hits, sit, breathe, drink water, read code. Do one small task, clean tips, prep labels, or test. Message one good client with a clear update. Touch reserve envelope and remember tomorrow. Drills save men when the brain tries to run. You can't think your way out of every storm. You move with rails until your mind warms up. Then you think. Then you plan the next step. Steps, not speeches. Build a life that holds. Night came, and I cleaned my kit with care. I logged every dollar and every part change. I counted the reserve and added 10 more. 10 is small, but it speaks like a stone. Stones stack into walls that take the wind. I read my code one last time before sleep. Speak less. Prove more. Protect peace. Honor time. Guard money. I felt the day settle under my feet, not on my chest. That's where weight belongs when a man stands. Listen, friend, mockery did not stop in 1 week. Hunger did not leave after one steady day. Bills still knocked and wanted the front row. But patterns changed the shape of every punch. Patterns turned pain into training and fuel. Patterns turned noise into something I could use. Small wins stacked and felt like quiet armor. Armor you don't carry, it just hangs around you. It makes people lower their voice near your name. It made theirs lower, even if pride fought back. Let me show you how the breakthrough came next. Not because they stopped, but because I didn't. I kept rails when they pushed and waves hit. I kept pace when pride laughed at careful hands. Then a big order walked through a calm door. It met a system that could carry real weight. It met a man who could say no to noise. That is where the first real breakthrough took root. Stay with me now. This next part is proof. Proof that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I woke and said one line before anything else. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast, out loud. I checked my kit twice with a calm mind today. Drivers tight, pry cards flat, alcohol capped, heat pad ready. I opened my blue book and reviewed my rails again. Label, test, log, deliver, and film every proof. A message came from Malik, a fleet manager in town. He needed 8 screens this week, clean delivery, no drama. I felt steady because my system could carry weight. Steady beats hype when pressure shows up hard. I asked for models, damage notes, and clear terms. I wrote parts at cost and labor, 35 each unit. He agreed fast because order makes leaders relax inside. I tested every panel with a harness first, no rush. I rejected 2 weak ones with no second thought today. I labeled each bag with model and client tag clearly. I set deep work windows and silenced my phone fully. 90 minutes on, then water and a breath only. I started with simple units to build early pace. Small wins stack and power the harder ones later. I opened the first phone and tested before closing anything. I seated the flex cables and checked touch lines twice. I matched color and brightness with a known good screen. I filmed a short clip before final screws each time. I wiped the glass and packed each one in foam. I logged time and a note like tight bracket here. Notes turn lessons into tools for next time always. They stop repeat mistakes when fatigue arrives late. The second and third units kept the rhythm true. Rhythm saves energy when long days hit hard. Ryan pinged with the corner cut pitch again soon. Skip, checks, scale fast, take bigger bites now. Skipping checks spends your name for lunch money fast. Lunch money fills today and empties tomorrow's plate. I typed, quality or no deal, that's the rule. Steady. He wrote, you're slow, and tried to laugh me off. He did not see that slow hands build fast weeks. He did not see the engine I was building inside. Engines pull weight. Hype just rides along loudly. Weight proves what's real without shouting at all. By midday, 5 phones were tested and labeled clean. I ate oats and 2 eggs and drank water. I stretched my hands and rolled my shoulders slowly. Care for the body protects the work quietly. I cleaned my mat and reset the screw tray lines. I pulled 2 fresh seals for worn frames today. I refused to close units with tired adhesive strips. Small choices stop big returns later in the week. Returns cost double once you count lost piece. Piece is profit most men forget to count. Unit 6 had a strip screw holding stubborn and tight. I used a thin rubber band to gain grip slowly. It turned slow and saved the board clean inside. Tools respond to calm hands better than loud hands. Calm told the screw, "We have time today, move." The frame opened and the swap went smooth. I checked proximity sensor and both mics with calls. I filmed tests, labeled bags, and logged time carefully. I wrote, "Rubber band save for future me later. Future me always pays me back for notes." The 7th unit flashed a faint backlight line once. I caught it during the harness test early today. I swapped the panel before closing the frame. Early saves money, sleep, and your warranty. Late makes you throw parts at loud problems. I returned the bad panel with clean evidence video. The parts counter swapped it with zero debate now. Evidence turns maybe into "you are right" fast. Right earns respect that grows month by month. Respect walks ahead of your name quietly. The last unit had a bent corner frame edge slightly. I trimmed adhesive to match the true shape there. I warned Malik about light frame wear clearly and calm. I added a note for a future reframe slot later. Honest notes beat false promises every single time. False promises steal from tomorrow's trust quickly. We set a reframe for his next payroll window. He likes straight talk from steady hands a lot. Men who run crews spot lies in seconds flat. They relax when the work speaks plain truth. Delivery felt firm, not shaky or loud at all. I packed each phone with foam and clear labels. I printed 2 invoices with clean terms written. Parts at cost, labor 35, 7-day work warranty. Parts as is sat bold to keep fights away. I brought my harness to live test on site calmly. We checked each screen together, direct and simple. No dead spots, no ghost touch, colors true today. He nodded like a man who found a good bridge. He paid in full and added a small extra tip. He asked, "Can you handle 5 to 10 weekly?" I said, "Yes, if quality stays first, always here." He said, "I want uptime more than cheap words." We shook hands like men who waste no words. I walked home and touched the key in my pocket. A key means a door I can lock at night. A locked door means sleep without fear now. Sleep protects hands better than speeches do. Strong weeks start with clean sleep and respect. Strong months start the very same way. I split the cash with cold discipline and speed today. Parts float first to keep supply steady, always. Rent next, then tools, and reserve last in line. I set 20 aside to thank my friend Ben. Gratitude keeps a man from turning bitter inside. Bitter men break parts and burn bridges fast. Thankful men sharpen skills and open doors. Doors open for steady hands and plain truth. Plain truth sells longer than bright ads anywhere. Ads fade. Trust keeps ringing your phone. Marcus sent, "Big order, huh?" "Must feel nice," I typed. "Working," and kept my pace steady. Short replies protect peace from bait and spin. Ryan called and tried a softer tone now. "Let's celebrate. You've got momentum," he said. I said, "Not this week. I'm planning stock right now, stock first, claps later, or not at all, friend." Claps don't fix returns when lights fade out. Stock and systems keep a man standing tall. Systems hold when wind gets rude and loud. Have you felt respect land like a quiet weight? It doesn't cheer. It sits and keeps you upright. It straightens your back and evens your voice calmly. It gives room to say no without fear now. It lets you plan months, not minutes anymore. That is what this win gave me today, friend. It didn't shout. It built my spine deeper. It showed slow can outrun fast with rails. It taught me proof is the language that lasts. Proof doesn't need noise to be heard ever. I returned the weak panel with my test video. The counter swap was smooth because evidence led. I restocked 2 common screens and 1 battery. I logged costs and updated my float level. I cleaned driver heads and wiped the mat clean. I set my phone to quiet for deep work again. I wrote 3 lines on a card near my bench. Keep promises. Protect pace. Guard peace. In ink. Those 3 carry me when days run long. They kept me steady when noise tried again. Night tried to tempt me to post a brag line. I let that urge pass like a loud truck moving. Bragging spends energy and buys nothing real. Building keeps energy and prints proof tomorrow. Proof buys safe sleep and steady clients again. Proof made their laughter softer each week. They still joked, but the echo faded away. Results hung in the air like a shield. Shields you don't carry are the best shields. They work while your hands keep building. Friend, if you want a breakthrough that holds, build rails. Test before you close, film before you argue later. Label and log. Deliver with clean terms always. Eat simple and walk. Sleep like it's part of work. Say no to speed that taxes you later hard. Say yes to systems you can repeat under stress. 1 steady week becomes 2, then 4 in time. Then your hands stop shaking when work piles up. Then silence starts to feel like a win. And wins stop needing noise to be real. They heard about my work from men they trust now. Kareem said the vans stayed up and drivers were calm. Ben told them I returned favors fast and clean always. Mr. Khan said I kept my word like Dad taught us. Respect moved without me posting a single thing online. Respect travels fast when proof walks ahead of your name. Their jokes got softer and started to pause at last. Have you seen a man stop mid-smirk and think hard? That pause means truth is working on his pride. Truth was finally louder than their old noise, friend. Ryan called with a tone I had not heard before. He asked, "Are you steady now? Really steady, Dylan?" I said, "I'm steady, not loud, and not rushing anything." He asked, "How much are you making each week then?" I said, "Enough to stand and sleep clean at night." He went quiet, and I heard one long breath over the line. Silence means a man is thinking past his pride now. Pride hates numbers that do not need applause or noise. Pride hates systems it cannot mock or bend at will. Would you stay calm when pride studies your steps? He came by and kept his hands off my things. He looked at labels, receipts, and the blue notebook. He touched nothing and kept his voice level and plain. He said, "You built something real without me here." I said, "I built it because I needed peace daily." He nodded like he finally saw the fight I fought. My war was not against him in the end at all. It was against panic, noise, and bait lines everywhere. It was one with proof stacked day after day, friend. Proof speaks long after loud talk grows tired and empty. Marcus sent a client without jokes for once. He wrote, "He pays fair and needs it done right." I replied, "Quality first, time depends on the model." The job went clean, and the man left calm and sure. Marcus texted, "He says you speak plain and straight now." I wrote, "That is the only way this stays solid." He replied, "Glad you didn't fold under heat there." That line sat heavy in my chest for a while. Folding is easy for a minute, and costly for months. Holding costs now, but it pays for years later. We met for coffee with clear terms in place. 1 hour only, neutral spot, no money talk allowed. They arrived on time and kept their hands still there. No jokes about pennies, pace, or my simple cards. We spoke about now, not the dirty past again. They asked how I keep returns low and clean today. I said, test first, film tests, write clear terms always. I said, if I break it, I fix it, no games ever. Their faces showed respect even with pride inside. Respect shows first in eyes, then in tone, after. Ryan tried to hand me cash with strings attached. He said, use this, but let me set your prices. I said, help that moves my rules is not help, brother. Boundaries are a door with a strong lock and frame. A good lock protects love. It does not kill it. He put the stack away and said, okay then. A small okay can mean a lot under weight. It sounded like a hinge that finally oiled up. Doors open smoother when rules are known clearly. Rules keep peace from leaking into old noise again. They asked about the night I held that letter. I said, I wrote not yet and kept small steps then. I said, I built rails so panic could not drive. I told them the 5 tools I use each day: breath, hands, pace, tone, and time in control. Any man can use those without permission given. They listened without trying to win the talk now. Guilt sat there, but it did not own my back. Their guilt belongs to them. I won't carry it. I carry my code, my work, and my peace. They watched how I split cash without noise made. Parts float first to feed the engine each week. Rent next, then tools, then the reserve after that. Saying no is money, I told them calmly then. No saves a week of sorry and waste often. They nodded, like men who learned late in life. Late is better than never when stakes are real here. A late lesson can still build a solid bridge. Bridges carry weight when built on straight truth. Truth holds even when wind presses hard on you. Marcus asked, are we good now, you and me? I said, we are clear. Good takes time and proof. Clear means rules, not fast hugs and easy shows. Clear means call first and no surprise favors anymore. Clear means no touching my things, ever again. Clear means no mockery about pennies or pace. He said, I can keep that, and met my eyes steady. I said, keep it for months, and we will see. Trust turns to steel only after heat and time. Steel needs pressure before it earns the name. People started using my name like a compass now. Ask Dylan. He tells the truth and shows work. That line made phones ring at good hours again. It beats any ad or bright post a mile away. Ads fade fast when hands are sloppy and loud. Proof grows strong when hands are steady and calm. My brothers heard those lines from men they trust. That is what moved them, not any speech from me. Outcomes teach when words would only argue. Outcomes turned their tone from sharp to measured steps. Ryan sent one last test to check my frame. Come now, bring 2 screens, we'll talk here. I typed, no screens move without payment first. He said, you got rules for everything, man, wow. I said, rules keep me from standing at edges. I did not explain more. I didn't need to now. You don't owe long talks for guarding your peace. He went quiet and then typed, understood. Finally. Understood is small, but it is solid ground. Solid ground lets a man plan months ahead. Friend, this is how truth settled between us now. It did not crash in with sirens and loud posts. It walked in, with invoices and quick, clean returns. It stayed in short yes and clean no each time. It turned their voices from sharp to measured lines. It turned my chest from tight to open, steady. Not perfect, not a storybook fix, just real and true. Real is enough for a man who almost faded once. Real holds when old wind tries to rise again strong. Real keeps doors steady while rails hold firm inside. He asked to meet, and I set the terms calmly. I said, 1 hour, neutral place, no money talk. I said, call before you come. Don't just show up. Boundaries feel like a door with a strong lock. A good lock protects love. It does not kill it. He arrived on time and kept his voice low. He looked at me like he finally felt the weight. I kept my breath even and my hands steady. Calm is the strongest tone a man can hold. Calm turns heat into steps a man can keep. I laid a small card on the table between us. I said, "These are my rules if we want a future. Call first. No surprise visits, ever," I began. "No touching my things. Ask first and wait. No loans, gifts only if I choose and can. No money talk during work hours. That's protected. If voices rise, the meeting ends right there." I read each line slow so there was no fog. He listened like a man walking on new ground. He said, "I can live with this," and breathed out. Marcus asked if we were good, and I said, "Clear." Clear is stronger than fake smiles or fast hugs. Clear means the door has rules, and both hold them. Clear means we respect each other's time and work. He said, "I was wrong for joining those jokes." I said, "Thank you for naming the wrong out loud." Naming wrong makes it possible to build right. Silence lets rot spread until boards snap. I said, "Don't overtalk this. Show me change. Keep your word and keep your hands clean." Ryan came with a test that carried strings. He said, "Here's cash, but I set your prices." I smiled a little and said, "That won't happen." He said, "I'm trying to help. Don't be proud." I said, "Help that moves my rules is not help." "Strong lines," said Calm. "Teach without a shout. Boundaries are teachers when kept steady." He leaned back, then put the cash away slow. He said, "You're different now," like it stung. I said, "I'm disciplined now, and I like it." I wrote a family policy in my blue notebook. No late calls, after 8 goes to tomorrow. No borrowing tools, use your own or rent. No errands during deep work, text and wait. If I say no, the answer stays no, no guilt. Policies save peace when feelings get messy. Feelings are waves, policies are harbor walls. A harbor keeps ships safe when storms roll through. I chose to be a harbor for my own mind. That choice kept me from old panic and rush. We tried short visits with the clock running tight. 1 hour exactly, with a soft chime at 50. We talked about now and not the dirty past. Past has its place, but not in every talk. We spoke about systems, not fresh promises. We spoke about what each man can control. I control breath, hands, pace, tone, and time. He controls words, arrival, and respect. Those 5 and those 3 build a quiet bridge. Quiet bridges carry more weight than loud ones. Marcus sent a client and didn't hover once. He said, "Treat him right," and then went silent. I did the job clean and sent handled after. He replied, "Thanks," and left it there. Ryan tried once more to push speed over care. I replied, "Quality or I don't do it at all." He paused, then typed back one word. "Understood." Understood is a small brick that holds weight. Stack enough and trust can rest there. Not the old trust, a new one built on steel. I gave them both chances without extra pressure. If you visit, arrive on time and honor the hour. If you text, use facts and leave bait out. If you refer, don't promise what I didn't say. They hit those marks more often than before. Not perfect, but measured steps in the right lane. Improvement matters more than sweet apologies. Apologies without change are just soft lies. Change without noise is how men rebuild roads. We were laying asphalt, not lighting fires. One afternoon, Ryan stood outside and waited. He did not knock hard or test the handle. He texted, "Here," and I opened with calm. He handed a small part and a clean receipt. "Thought you might need this. No strings," he said. No strings felt like air after a tight shirt. I said, "Thank you," and he nodded and left. That short exchange held more respect than years. Respect is small, sharp, and heavy in a good way. It sits in your chest and keeps your back straight. I set one last boundary that changed our tone. No jokes about my pace, pennies, or code. Mockery is a tax I no longer pay. I said it once, calm, and never repeated it. Repeating rules invites people to test them more. Holding rules without debate teaches faster. If a line was crossed, I ended the meeting. We're done for today. Try again next week. Ending fast stops rot from spreading wide. Rot spreads in slow rooms with nervous smiles. Friend, this is the shape of our new bond now. Not anger, not drama, not revenge or noise. Calm rules, measured chances, and proof on paper. Doors that lock and open on clear terms only. Calls that wait until morning like they should. Hands that work and deliver what they promised. Voices that say little and mean every word. You asked how men heal without losing themselves. They do it like this. With rails, with time, with truth. That is how I will live from now on. Peace did not arrive with noise or bright moments. It arrived slow, like a steady breath at dawn. It stayed because I guarded it with real rules. It grew because I fed it with honest work. Hear me like a friend sitting across from you. I once stood close to the edge with a letter. I felt like disappearing when my twin cut deep. I chose a code over anger and loud fights. That code built a life I can carry anywhere. It built a spine that does not shake under weight. My mornings are simple because simple wins days. I wake early and rinse cold to clear my head. I eat oats and eggs and read my lines out loud. Speak less, prove more, protect peace, honor time, guard money. These words fit in my pocket and in my chest. I check my tools and wipe each driver head clean. I keep my reserve where I can touch it daily. Touch reminds me tomorrow has a guard already. Calm plans beat fear when bills or wind rise. Clients trust me because proof walks first now. I test before I close any frame, every time. I film short clips before the final screws always. I write clear terms and keep them without fail. 7-day work warranty. Parts as is, stays firm. If I break it, I fix it and say sorry fast. If I can't fix it, I say so right away. Men respect plain truth more than bright talk. Bright talk fades. Plain truth pays for years. Money is steady because rules are steady here. Parts float first to feed the engine well. Rent next, then tools, then the reserve last. I add 5, 10, or 20 when I can. Drops build a wall behind my back slowly. A wall lets a man say no without fear. No saves cash and protects peace at once. No keeps bridges and buys a full night's sleep. Sleep is not a luxury. Sleep is a tool. You ask where I stand with my twin now. We speak with rules that protect both sides well. Calls first, 1 hour, no surprise visits ever. No money talk during my work hours at all. No touching my things. Ask and wait for yes. If voices rise, the meeting ends and resets. These rules are not punishment, they are rails. Rails keep a train fast and safe every mile. Without rails, even a strong engine may crash. Ryan tries more now, and I see the effort. He calls first and keeps his hands to himself. He does not mock my pace or my pennies anymore. He sends a client and does not hover near. Marcus keeps to facts and drops the bait from texts. He asks clear questions and hears full answers. I don't rush the word forgive with them now. I measure by patterns under real weight and time. Patterns beat speeches every single time. Time and pressure make or break trust. Sundays belong to books, tools, and quiet checks. I read my logs and highlight small patterns. I fix weak steps and lock in strong moves. Test early, film tests, label clearly, stays pinned. I clean driver heads and replace worn tips. I keep one spare battery and seals in stock. I plan the week and set deep work times. I turn off alerts when my hands are working. Alerts steal focus faster than hunger does. Focus is money and peace at the same time. I help when I can, without breaking my rails. A man brings a phone that holds his bus pass. I clean the port and tighten one small bracket. He tries to pay but comes up short a bit. I say, "It's handled. Take care of your shift." Not every payment is cash in the moment. Sometimes payment is a hand on your shoulder. It stays longer than bills and buys real peace. Peace given returns in ways you can't plan. Walks at dusk are part of my daily work now. I count steps and match them with soft words. I build. I protect. I improve, in calm rhythm. The words make my breath even and strong. Even breath makes hands steady for tomorrow. Steady hands make returns rare and short. Rare returns make clients relax and trust me. Trust makes a man's name move through towns. That is the only ad I use now. I keep a storm drill ready like a tool. If panic rises, I sit, breathe, and drink water. I read my code and clean one small tip. I do one task I can finish in 1 hour. I message one good client with a clear update. I touch my reserve and remember tomorrow. Panic hates motion that is calm and simple. Motion breaks panic the way dawn breaks fog. Fog looks big until the sun shows its shape. What did I learn from the hurt and climb? I learned respect starts with how I treat myself. The world follows the rules I keep in private. I learned family should build you, not tax you. If they tax you, step back and set terms firm. Terms protect love and work at the same time. I learned speed without a base is falling. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, fast is winning. I learned proof is the only music that lasts. It plays in quiet and holds your back straight. Friend, if you are near the edge tonight, breathe. You still control your breath, hands, pace, tone, time. Make one page for one day and keep it close. Eat simple, work careful, and log every dollar. Tell the truth faster than your fear can talk. Protect your hours with clear no and calm yes. Put 5 in a reserve and touch it at night. 5 becomes 10, then 20, then a wall. Walls block storms and give you windows for light. Windows let peace in and keep noise out. I will leave you with a picture you can hear. A clean bench and a blue book open wide now. Drivers that fit and a mat with straight rows. A phone screen lighting up clean and true. A calm voice saying, "It's handled, here you go." A door that locks and a man who sleeps deep. A spine that holds because the code held first. That is the quiet life I built from hurt. That is a win no one can twist or steal. That is my proof, and it is enough. If you are still here and enjoy this story, please like this video. It really helps me know you want more content like this. If this story gave you some strength, please share it with your friends or someone who needs it. If you have any questions or suggestions about this story, please type them in the comments below. I love reading your thoughts. If you want more stories like this, please subscribe to this channel. There are many more on the way. Remember, your worth is not determined by how others treat you. You can still rise above.